Hi, you guys. It is Thursday, January 9th, 2020. My name is Doris, and this is the Knit and Purl Podcast, episode 190. Happy New Year. You can find the show notes for this podcast on knitandpurl-doris.blogspot.com. In social media, I am One Fine Cow on Ravelry and Twitter. I am One Fine Design, the number one, on Facebook and Etsy, and I'm Doris M. Smith, all lowercase, and smooshed together on Instagram. This podcast has a Ravelry group, which is the Knit and Purl Podcast group. Alas, I told you all this, but you don't have to remember all that because there is a handy dandy down bar below, and in that you'll find a link to the show notes, a link to the podcast group, and a link to my Etsy store. If you click the show notes, at the top of the show notes is all the links to the social medias. Go over there, click and follow me, and I'll follow you back. I do a birthday shout out every podcast, and there are 2 birthdays between January 1st and January 15th. We have Frog Princess 21CA. Her birthday is on the 14th, and Nadia B54, her birthday is on the 15th of February. So happy birthday, ladies. I hope that you did have or will have a wonderful birthday. Not did have. I hope you'll have a wonderful birthday. I hope that you got good gifts, that you got to spend time with friends and family, and that you enjoyed a delicious piece of your version of a birthday cake. Happy birthday. And if it was your birthday during this time and you don't share that information on Ravelry, happy birthday to you as well. Story of the Weekend Stash Enhancement. I did a little stashing. I was at the grocery store and there's a Michael's nearby, and I needed a set of US 9 16-inch circulars for the sleeves of my flax. So I went and purchased this. These are really nice, and the cable on these was different and nice. So they're not bad. They're not my favorite needle, but they work. I also, while I was there, looked at the yarn, and I've kind of got a pink project going, so I purchased some of this, which is Karen Kindness. It's 100% polyester, 310 yards, and the color is Twirling Variegate. Twirling Variegate. It's attached, so you'll be seeing that later. It's nice. It's nice. It's not like plasticky. It's nice. So, it may be a little plasticky, but I like it. So, that's it for now, and I wanted to take this time to talk about the faux of 2019. I usually keep a running list of all the faux that I do throughout the year so that I can see what I've got, what I've done, what I haven't done. I think I did more than last year, but the year before I way overdid, but I think it was because I had a lot of little projects. This year I had some big projects. I actually have 46 and a half finished objects. Here's the list, and we're going to go through them. I did 4 blankets, but they weren't full blankets, okay? I did 2 baby blankets and 2 lap gowns. I knit or crocheted 7 shawls. I knit 3 and crocheted 4. Hats. Last year I knit 1 hat. This year I knit 11 hats. Well, I made 11 hats. I knit 9 and I crocheted 2. Sweaters. 2019 was a sweater year. I made 6 sweaters. 1 baby, 3 color work. I did 2 tecumsehs and the rug. I also knit I'm calling it a sweater. I knit the Shelley Summer blouse, and I made a baby cardi, and I did a crocheted cocoon cardigan. So spinning, I did 4 skeins, not a whole lot, but it was 932 yards. So stuffies or toys, I made 4. I made a crocheted ball. I made a crocheted lovey. I knit one kitty bean, and I knit 1 comfy doll. I crocheted a crochet basket, and I crocheted a hot pad. Dishcloths, I made 2. I did 1 hanging dishcloth crochet. Pouches, I made 2, and I fully lined them. 1 was knitted, 1 was crocheted. I made 1 fairy leaf dress. I made 1 baby poncho, and I made 1 Zuzu's petals. And I made 1 sock. Hence 46 and a half finished objects. So that was 2019. With everything that happened in 2019, I think 46 and a half is a good round number. Yes. So other than that, we've just been steady working, and we had a lovely holiday season. It was good. We had a very quiet New Year's Eve. Ted went to bed early, and I stayed up. I saw it through, but I saw the new year in knitting something. I'm sure of it. So that just brings us to the finished objects. We might as well start with what I'm wearing. I finished the flax sweater, which is a free pattern on Ravelry by Tin Can Knits. The yarn I used was a Karen Cakes in the pistachio colorway. Needles I used were US 7 and a US 9 in different lengths, whatever it called for. I modified the pattern by not adding the garter ridge down the sleeves, and I went up a needle size. I think this is the extra large, but it's even larger because of the needle size change. But I like it. I didn't gauge. One of these days I will. So I'll stand up and show you the finished object. When I got home today, it was kind of chilly in the house, and I'm like, well, let me just put on my bow. That'll warm me up. Here it is. I finished it Monday night, and I ended up weaving in the ends and steam blocking it last night. It was 2 skeins to do the whole body, the yoke and the body. And then I pulled from the middle. I pulled from the middle of the first ball, and it matched up to where the sleeve begins. So there. And I wanted to do the same thing on the other one, but when I pulled from the middle, I only had this much of that, and but it's just sleeve, and it's just fine. Let me move around. And Knit Truth on this sleeve, I started the 1x1 ribbing and realized after 1.5 rows that I didn't change to the smaller needles. And I started to go back, tink back, and I'm like, what the heck? Knit Truth. I finished the 2nd row, changed to the smaller needles, and I don't think it makes that much difference. So there you have it. I love it. Anyway, I don't know if I said, I wove in the ends last night, took it down, and just did a nice steam block just to even out the stitches a little bit. I didn't want to like soak it and lay it out because I was afraid that with the wool in it, it would stretch, and I like the size that it is. I don't want it to be any bigger. It's a nice like sweatshirty type size, and I like it. But I didn't want it to like get big and start falling off my shoulders, so that's what I did. I have one more finished object with another Crochet Truth. I made the easy single crochet beanie by Crystal from Bankhead Crochet on YouTube. I used a Lion Brand Ice Cream Big Scoop leftover yarn in the colorway Moon Mist. And I don't remember the hook size. It was a smaller one, maybe an F or a G. I don't know. I don't think it was a G, but anyway. You guys, I was telling you last time that I didn't know if I would finish it because it was just all this little tiny single crochet. The Crochet Truth is I started doing half double crochets rows. Right here I did 2 half double crochets because I'm like, I'm got to get this done. So then I went back and did 2 more single, and then I did 4 rows of half double crochet and went back and did 4 rows of single, and then did the decrease round and tied off. It doesn't make a difference. It's okay. I modified the pattern a little because I couldn't take it anymore. And I didn't want to abandon it. But there you have it. It's a nice hat. If you have patience to do tiny single crochets forever, you can do it. Or you can do like me and throw in some half double crochets. There you have it. I like it. So that is all the finishes this week. Works in progress. I don't know that I did a lot of work on the throw blanket I showed you last week. Let me just pick it up and I'll show you. And I think that's the only thing that was active last week, and it's in my bag. A lady never discusses the size of her yarn stash. Remember, it's a Burnett baby blanket. In what was the name of the color? I'm depleting this skein. The color is Little Roses. I'm using a 10.75 7mm needle, and I didn't put a marker in, but here's what I've got done. I'm using Grandma's favorite dishcloth, and my plan is to finish this skein, start on the second one, see where I am, and then do half of the second skein and then start decreases. I want it to be a big throw blanket that'll be soft and warm, and so it'll be a long-term project. Let me right now, while I'm thinking about it, put a marker so I'll know where I am the next time, where I was the last time I podcasted. There you go. Okay. I'm sure I did maybe, 5 or 6 rows on it. But that's it. Because I was determined to get this finished. I also started another new project. This one is another Bag O Day crochet. It is the Delilah, which is a easy lace super scarf. That's what she's titled it. I am using, here's the pattern. Here's a picture of the pattern. Because there's a tutorial online. There's also a link to buy a written pattern on her Etsy store. I always, if I'm liking it, it's easier to have the paper pattern, and I like to do a little supporting. It's only $2, but you know, they would say any. So I'm using a Yarn Bee Luxe Lolly in the Dancing Donut colorway. Melissa gave me this. She bought it during the Hobby Lobby Everything's on Sale extravaganza. I think she paid $2 for this. Regular price is $8, and she paid $2. But she didn't like it, so she gave it to me, and it's been sitting for a while. And when I saw this tutorial, I'm like, that's it. That's it. So that's what I'm doing. Here it is. If you can see the lace, it's a cool lace, like a circular type pattern. Crystal says she never blocks. I will block this because I want it I want you to be able to see the lace. So I will block it when I'm done. This is how much I've gotten done. I've probably done a third of the skein, so I'm just going to keep going. It's a fun pattern. It's fun. And you see, you only just go back and forth. It's not a real long, you're not doing 200 stitches across. So there you have it. It's fun and it's pretty. And we'll just see how it goes. It's a scarf. She called it a super scarf. I don't know that this will be a super scarf. I'm just going to make it till the yarn is done. And the needle I'm using is an eye. And it's just a Susan Boyd eye. I also have a few other little crocheted pieces that I've been working on. Also, the 2 half skeins of, probably 2/3 skeins of yarn from the Karen Cakes. One of them will go in my granny stripe blanket, which is a long-term project. I'm using all my leftover Karen Cakes for that because of the wool content. Just going to keep that over there, and that's what. And then the other one I'm just like using up. I started a Bankhead hat with one of them. It'll be a stripy Bankhead. I didn't put it in my show notes. I'll put it in next week. It'll be a finished object next week, and I'll give you all the particulars. Or you can just go on Ravelry and type in the pattern search Bankhead. It's a free pattern by Susan Gorley, I think. Anyway, I'm in the twisted rib portion of the hat. Now on to the crocheted things. Something I've been working on long term because all of this scrap yarn and extra pieces of half balls and whatever have been getting on my nerves, and I want them out, but I want to use them. I've been crocheting on this granny square for quite some time. I might have shown it in a previous podcast, but over the last, I don't know, I probably added the blue and this variegated over the last, since you've seen it before. I'm just going to keep going until it gets to be a blanket that's going to be good to cover up with out of just scraps. So it's not going to be extra gorgeous or anything. It's just going to use up all this acrylic yarn that is sitting in half balls, and it's worsted weight. So I did some work on that this last couple of weeks, and I started another scrappy crocheted. I think it was Mary last one showed in her little videos, she showed a rectangular granny square and I wanted to try it, and I had pink yarn scraps. So I started it. I think I linked this. Maybe I didn't. If you follow me on Ravelry and you can look in my patterns, I have the pattern for this in Ravelry. I don't have a project page. I don't even know if you can look at the patterns I have. I have no idea, but you can look it up. It's a rectangle granny square. There are several. You'll find it. It's simple. So anyway, I think that's going to be pretty. That's why I bought this yarn, because I've got a lot of this pink. This is some leftover from a shawl. This is leftover from a blanket that I made earlier, one of the baby blankets. So I got pink and I want to use it up. But yeah, I bought another one because it's almost defeating the purpose, isn't it? Oh well. And I'm using an eye. And this is a boy. Fun pattern. I really like it. So I believe that that's all of the current works in progress. I wanted to talk about dream knitting, and yeah, dream knitting. Oh Lord, I have 3 patterns. I think that this shawl is going to be the next thing that jumps on my needles. You can't see on this picture because the black and white printer. It is called, what is it called? What is this called? Log Cabin Knit Shawl. And it's knit, let me see if you can tell by this. You see that? It's knit like a log cabin. And yeah, I want that. I want that. I've had it set aside. I printed it a while ago, and it's from Yarnspirations. And I plan on using, I have 3 balls of the Karen Kindness. Is that the name of this? Yeah, Karen Kindness. In light pink, dark pink, and light purple, like a lilac or lavender. I think that's going to hop on my needles in the next 2 weeks. I also was watching Christy Glass, and she has a Yarnspiration Paige. She's like an influencer or something there. And she has a list of her favorites. Excuse me. I'm going to try to clear my throat here. A list of her favorites, and yeah, this is a free pattern on Yarnspiration. It is using bulky yarn, so it should knit up fast. It's color work. I probably will not do this neck, which is an adventure for me because I'm going to have to figure out this neckline without all of this. I think it'll be okay. You know, it'll be at the beginning, so if it doesn't look right, I can try a different way. But isn't that pretty? I ordered the yarn last night. It was under $30. So it's from Knit Picks. It's an acrylic and it's bulky. And it's a maroon and very light maroon color. Purpley maroon. Mm-hmm. Yes, I am. I think that's going to be the next sweater. Unless I figure out my yarn. One more sweater. I've been seeing this sweater when it was a DK weight sweater. But then the pattern designer made it. That's it? Do I have? Okay, go to. I'm sorry. Excuse me while I go to Ravelry on my iPad mini and show you this pattern. It is gorgeous and I bought it already. It was quite expensive, but it is an amazing looking sweater and I want to knit it. I can't pronounce the name of it. The worsted Sanguin sweater by Morgan, and I can't pronounce that. It's gorgeous. Let me see if I can get the picture up. It's gorgeous worsted color work and I want to knit it. I have enough yarn in my stash. Excuse me. But picking out the color, that's why this is just a 2 color. Easy. I can do that. Yes. So anyway, that is my dream knitting or vicarious knitting I've been doing these past few weeks. I haven't started a new skein of spinning. And as always, if you so wish, would you please go over and have a look at, click the link below and go look at my Etsy store. If you find anything that you really like and can't live without, I will happily ship it to you and sell it to you as lightning fast. Also, thank you so much for coming and spending a few minutes with me. And I thank you so much. And anyway, I'll see you in 2 weeks for the next episode of the Knit and Purl podcast. Bye, you guys.